RMU getting set to take on another ranked opponent. The Colonials ranked themselves this week, number 10, after taking number 2 Minnesota down to the wire last weekend. I'm Matt Gajtka. We're here ringside at the RMU Island Sports Center alongside the reigning co-CHA Player of the Week, junior defender Emily Curlett from Lapeer, Michigan. Emily had a couple of assists, a goal, as well as 20 block shots. Let's talk about the 20 block shots first because we had 12 of them on Friday. We're pretty sure that's a program record. Can't verify it right now. Definitely a personal best for you. In the middle of that game, were you able to realize just how many you were getting in front of?
Honestly, no. After the game, my coach said something about the shots or whatever, and my dad also said something, and I'm like, "How many did I actually block?" And he said 12. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." So, yeah, it's definitely when you're in the heat of the moment, you don't really notice. I definitely felt like I was on with my angles and everything, getting the shots, but I didn't really realize how many there were until after the game.
Well, let's talk about that. You mentioned the angles and being on, so there is a real art to the block shot. What do you focus on fundamentally when you're out there?
Well, I kind of felt like the puck was coming to me on Friday, but definitely just knowing where you are on the ice, knowing where the net is, and then understanding where they need to shoot to get to the net, and then making sure that you're between them and the net at any time. Honestly, some of it's just luck as well, but definitely just knowing where you are on the ice and then trying to find that space between their stick and the net.
Well, they say luck is the residue of preparation, so some of that is under your control. Is there a safe way to block a shot? How do you go about it to try to prevent as many bumps and bruises as you can?
Oh gosh, coach really likes to emphasize turning your stick over so it doesn't go into your face, as we've had experience with. Yeah, and a puck's going to hit you. It's going to hurt no matter where it hits you, but evidently I like to use my face this weekend a couple times, so try to avoid that. Just kind of making sure you don't turn your back, keeping yourself safe.
Okay. Let's talk about you yourself putting shots on net, because you had 11 in the series. You had a goal. You had a couple of assists, I mentioned, off rebounds of your shot. Has that always been an asset of yours, and how did you develop that growing up?
Yeah, I think so. I definitely didn't learn how to control it until I got to college. You can ask anybody I play with back home; they're like, "Oh, you hit the net now." But yeah, definitely, I always liked to shoot a lot. Then when I got here, I realized how much of an asset it could be. And even moving forward throughout my college career, I started to get my shots on net more, and I think that's still continuing to be one of my goals. But once we figured out probably halfway through the game, as long as it got there, it was good enough. And then thankfully, it came in handy at the end of the game.
Well, and much like blocking shots, there's some nuance there to getting the shots through from the point, I'm sure. Are there moments where you're shooting to score from the point versus actually just trying to set up a rebound like you saw with J.C. Gebhardt or Michaela Boyle this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously times where you see a space, and when you have that much open space, you're kind of trying to pick a corner. But most of the time, I'm either just trying to get it on net, get it past all the shin pads, aim for a forward stick, or in the case of this weekend, just make sure it got on net and then hope it would have a rebound.
You play a lot on special teams, both sides. How did you feel like those two units held up against a Minnesota team that is one of the strongest in the country when it comes to individual skill?
I was really happy with it. I know that I personally felt like we had quite a bit of success in the power play, even though we didn't necessarily get that many goals. Felt like we had phenomenal scoring chances, and against a good team, they're going to make good plays. And then on the other side of it, I felt like our penalty kill was very strong. We were really, I think we were really fundamentally sound, and we held them at bay. I don't even know the stats, but I felt like we did a pretty good job with it, and just looking to continue to make it better for next weekend.
Well, let's talk about this upcoming weekend because, as I mentioned, the competition doesn't get any easier at all. It might even get stiffer depending on your opinion of Clarkson, number 4, coming in. How do you feel like the team has rebounded from an emotional series against Minnesota? I know everyone was disappointed in not getting results there, but still, you take the Golden Gophers down to the wire. So what's the feeling like in the room and on the ice here this week?
I think it's feeling pretty good. I think we all got a lot of confidence this weekend, regardless of whether the results bounced our way or not. And I think that we proved that we can hang with any team in the country. And I think that we're looking to make a bigger statement this weekend than we did last weekend.
There you go. You heard it from Emily Curlett, junior defender for the Colonials. They'll be back on the ice here behind us Friday and Saturday against Clarkson. Last chance in a couple of weeks to check out the number 10 ranked RMU women's hockey team. Go to rmucolonials.com for all your coverage and full information on the series.